Join Bev Lazar, spiritual mentor, Reiki master, psychic medium, with Shelly Greenlaw, doula, yogi, and intuitive energy healer. Two sisters walking the path of spirit to share their experience and advice in all things energy, intuition, and beyond. The Empath Sisters.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Empath Sisters. I'm Shelly.
Hey, everybody, it's Bev.
And today we're so excited. We have a special guest today.
We do. We're so excited. You're going to love her.
Yeah. And her name is Nicole Bonar, and she is from the Edmonton area, and she's going to talk to us about Akashic Records. And I'm super excited to have her on. I should say we both are very excited to have her on, because I am also excited because I really want to know a lot to do with Akashic Records. I know lots of people who do go have Akashic Records done, and they say it's amazing. And I'm just so excited to find out more. And what better way than to have Nicole on. So yes, we're so excited to have you, Nicole, and we can't wait to hear more.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yay.
Great. So how long have you been doing Akashic Records for?
I've been reading the Akashic Records for about 3 years.
Amazing.
And yeah, I started professionally reading like soon after I kind of learned how to do it. I've always been intuitive and into, spirituality and consciousness and, what is this reality about, how things work and things like that. And I started off with doing like Reiki healing, and from there kind of did training in hypnosis, and then kind of from there went into learning a bit about the Akashic Records, because I know I heard that you guys have had past life hypnosis sessions. And so the Akashic Records kind of leads into there, but it goes a little deeper. So the main purpose, like when I work within the Akash, is generally to do like clearing, energy clearing, or just to like bring out belief patterns that aren't serving anymore. The Akashic Records are a great place to go to facilitate those types of healings and change and awareness. Essentially, okay, so what are the Akashic Records? I guess I could start there.
Yeah. Tell us that. I love the beginning already.
Yeah.
I'm like, I love the beginning, Reiki, hypnosis. I'm like, oh, you speak in our language. We like this.
Yeah, it all kind of intermingles. And I know a lot of people in your audience probably have a lot of modalities as well, and they all kind of just like blend beautifully together. So the Akashic Records are essentially like a storehouse of living conscious information and data. So that can include like emotional data, basically everything, like words, colors, pictures, information, streams of information. It's like a collective library. The way I perceive it is when I go in there, it's more like earth-based. And I'm not sure what your guys' belief system are on like, extraterrestrial or things like that. But when I've done readings, extraterrestrial things have come through where people have had lives on other planets and stuff. But I don't perceive that I'm reading that from the Akash. The Akash, I'm reading more from like earth-based.
Right.
So that's kind of how I perceive it. It's more like an earth-based record and storehouse. That means when I do readings, I do get other information. And so it's kind of like, but it feels like it's coming from outside of that, because I'm highly intuitive as well. So I'll, dive into the records, but then sometimes that information will come depending on who I'm connecting with and reading with. Sometimes it's not relevant, and sometimes that's not in their belief patterns, so it doesn't even come up, right?
Okay, so with that, just for our listeners, And how exactly, like, how would you explain how you get into the Akashic Records? Like, if I were to come in and have a session with you, how would you do it?
Okay, so some people, I'll start off with saying some people I know of who've learned how to read, and I've had readings done from others as well. They have like a real process of like opening the records and talking to the masters and different guides and things like that. So I know some people do that.
Okay.
I don't do that, however. I experience the records differently. I do set an
Okay.
intention to have like only the highest information come through possible. And I do set you know, an energetic container of where like, you know, our loved ones and guides can come support us in the information coming through. But it's not like I have to ask permission to open the records per se. Like we're all
Right.
kind of connected. So I feel like I do have access to the records.
Okay, yeah.
Is it social etiquette to be asking someone if you could view the records? Yes, yes, it is. It's a polite thing to do. But technically, I could actually sneak around if I wanted to. I would never do this, but like if
Right.
someone was around me, I could almost like get information from the records if they were just next to me.
Okay.
So personally, but other people might say, no, I don't do that. I have to get permission. But for me personally, that's not how I experience it. I'm not exactly sure why I experience it in that way. I'm sure other people do as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. It is important to set the highest intention, of course, that only like positive energy will come in and out because you're channeling
Right.
information essentially.
Right.
And you want that information to be for the highest good of all. And of
Yeah.
course, to be truthful and authentic information as well, right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's, you know, very important, but that's how I experience it. And personally, so when I go in, I'll set the intention. Sometimes I'll light some sage or, you know, I'll invite their guide, the people's guides. I always do clearing before I go into a session with someone. So I'll just do like an energy clearing really quickly so that ego's out of the way and soul and spirit can receive and everything that's for the highest good.
Nice.
Then once that's done, generally how I experience it is I will start getting like high visual flashes. So I'll get like full on visuals of like the person or their life or where, you know, where we're exploring. And generally when I go in, it's for a purpose. It's not just like, hey, let's just go explore.
Just all random.
Yeah,
There's
they'll be like,
intention behind
there's
it.
intention and a purpose. It's not just like, let's play around. It's,
Yeah.
you know, I have a lot of people come in and will have like relationship struggles. So the Akashic Records is perfect. Like I think it's one of the number one ways to work with it is relationship issues.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times when we're having relationship issues, and it's not all the time, but a lot of the times there is past life drama going on. Like, so, you know, I've seen we can come in, for example, my husband and I have been brothers multiple times in past life. We've been brothers and brother and sister and wife and husband. So like the roles can constantly change throughout our lifetimes.
Yeah.
So going into the records to clear out some of the, I guess you could call it like energetic loop patterns we have in relationships with others it's a great way to do that. Because sometimes you can have issues with someone where you feel like, I'm going around in circles with this person and I don't understand why. Like, why do we keep getting in the same like kind of situations and patterns with each other, right? Like, and you can look through and you can kind of cycle and analyze it and whatever. But sometimes those issues have not stemmed from this lifetime. So that's an area where the Akashic Records is really helpful because just like in everyday life that we have now, where we build up patterns and continue them through this life, we can carry patterns from past lives into this one that we're not aware of. So the Akashic Records is really helpful in that area.
Okay.
So, you know, if someone says like, I keep butting heads with this, you know, my mother, let's just say, for example, and you're like, I don't know why, like, why do we keep fighting or what have you? So I'll say, okay, let's go into the records and see kind of what comes up and why you guys are butting heads, where there's a, you know, an energy mismatch or what have you. And then, so I'll just close my eyes and then just all of a sudden the visuals will start coming and I'll see like a lifetime. It will take me to like a specific scenario or situation or emotion. And sometimes it is in this lifetime, but other times it's not. So Yeah, they can
Right.
be helpful in that area for sure. And then I'll go in and we'll do some energy clearing in those areas. And it's amazing because oftentimes people will say after the fact, they'll be like, oh my gosh, like my mom called me and we got along for the first time. Or we'll do some clearing in a health area, or we won't even do clearing in a health area, but something health wise will clear up after. That wasn't, and they didn't think it was related. So it's probably quite similar to how you guys experience doing a Reiki treatment or what have you, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I really love how you put it, like how you access it,
Yeah.
what that's all about. But I love how you kind of labeled it more of like this, it's really helpful for relationships,
Mhm.
and how you view it as more of this like earthly experiences, which I could see, even if you're getting other stuff from if they've been to other planets, and yeah, I'm open to all that.
Yeah.
And so it's, if you get that information, that's great. But I could see how the Akashic Records would be more beneficial, I guess, to people here on Earth, going in there, accessing them, especially because this is where we have relationship issues, is on Earth. It's in the physical that we do that. When we're out there, I mean, it's usually life is bliss. So it's like,
Yeah.
we don't really have those issues. So I could see how that would be really beneficial. And I love that you recognize that. And that's kind of what you bring up and help people with, because that is usually the issues that we're experiencing here. So yeah, that's super great. I love it.
What I like too, I want to add is that, when you're saying it is good for the people earthbound, which, helps with what, like Bev said, like with relationships and stuff like that. But also, I think it's kind of like that, cleaning up the cycle, cleaning up, like breaking that cycle and making sure that the next time that you're either here or not, whatever you're going to be, if you're going to come back in the same lifetime or whatever, but that you're breaking that up for that next person, right? And that's what I like about what you're explaining, is that this can also help with like maybe karmic, right? And so, and that's what I like about it. And I think that's really fascinating, to be honest.
And not only like the next lifetime, just from like this moment forward.
Right.
And another thing to note about the Akash is they're always kind of changing and fluxing. Like it's almost like they're alive. So you can go back into the Akash and say you had like a moment in childhood where it was like kind of traumatic for you, or you had a really emotional experience, and that kind of imprinted on you. And, sometimes those experiences will imprint like, I'm not worthy or what have you, playing in the background. So you can go into the cache and actually, like, I won't say shift, like change, but it is like changing the past, because you can go there and you can actually do energy work in those moments. So in that hard moment, you can send like angels to those moments so that they're speaking to you, or there's certain things that you can do to ease those moments. And that actually creates a ripple effect to the now moment. So you can work in the past, you can project to the future, and you can work now. So it's always like it's like a living library.
I could see that being, if we think in terms of energy, I mean, energy is everything.
Right.
So there's like no time really, if like you're going back, but I feel like you're reading more of like the energy imprints that are there, and then changing and having the ripple effect going to the energy imprint now. And even though you're changing it there, then you're getting the benefits of it now moving forward.
Right. And you can go into like, this is like quantum physics, like blow your mind stuff. So I don't go too much down the road of timelines, but it's almost feels like when you do that, you create a new timeline. So there could be an old timeline where, yes, that did happen and you didn't go back and change it, but there's a new timeline that you're on now that you did go back and change it. So the energy changes. So it's very interesting when you start diving into it, but it can also be mind boggling.
Yeah.
I love the mind blowingness.
Yeah, it's like,
that's
oh, like how many timelines do I have running?
Many. We're on many.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, that's great.
That's awesome.
That's very fascinating to me. I guess what my next question would be like, so are you able to do this like in person or online? Like, or like, how do you How
Yeah,
do you like to
Your
do it?
readings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I generally do the sessions like through Zoom online,
Okay.
and yeah, they're just as powerful as
Sweet.
if you were to do it in person.
And how long are your sessions usually?
Yeah, generally 45 minutes, but
Hmm.
sometimes they go over because I'm not gonna like this is healing work and stuff. So I'm not gonna be like,
Yeah.
hey, 45 minutes is up. If there's still more work
Right.
in that one session, I'll go over, but generally 45 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Sweet.
Um,
I love it.
yeah.
I'm like, ooh, Zoom. That's so great.
I know it's so convenient. Like
It
it's
is so
convenient for everyone.
convenient. I
Yeah.
love it.
Well, I mean, you pretty much like I had this list of questions to ask you, but you pretty much have covered all of the stuff that I wanted to
She
know.
probably already knew what you were going to ask, so she
Yeah, she probably did.
Just
Yeah,
into
had it already.
Yeah. So,
Well, I
but,
do there's a couple more things that I could mention
okay.
about the Akash is another great area. Relationships are great, but also another area is if people are feeling kind of stuck, like I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know what my gifts are. That is a perfect area to explore in the Akash, because oftentimes there's like past lifetimes where people were really into healing or herbs, or they were amazing leaders or speakers, and there's just different things that come up. And then when that comes in through the session, it kind of the person will generally be like, oh yeah, oh my goodness. And then it just gives them the confidence to move forward in that area. Whereas before they were kind of doubting the gifts, or what they were kind of thinking, like I was already kind of thinking I wanted to make healing herb sprays or what have you, right? But then they just kept putting it on the back burner. And then, they have a session and then we talk about it. And I was like, wow, I can really see you working with herbs. Have you been thinking about this, for example? They haven't told me that. But then they're like, yeah, I was thinking about making sprays. And I'm like, yes, do that. So oftentimes it's kind of just the kick in the butt. Like, you're on the right track. Keep going.
Yeah. That confirmation and validation.
Yeah.
Sometimes to what they're already feeling or knowing already.
Exactly.
Which is great.
No, that is great. And then, like, I'm glad that you had mentioned other, areas, right? Not just relationships and, like, because there are a lot of people out there that constantly do ask, like, what is my purpose here? What am I supposed to be doing? And, some people, want, I guess, in a way told to be not maybe like told and necessarily, but like, what you
Some
said,
insight.
push them, push them a little bit into something that they probably have thought about, but was like, I don't think so. I don't know if that's for me. But having that
Or I don't know if
validation
I
or confirmation.
can.
Yeah,
A lot of times
exactly.
it's like, why me? How can I? Whatever.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
like, no, you can. Like you're thinking that you don't have the experience or the knowledge, but actually you have like 4 lifetimes where you were a master at this. So go.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So that's great. I think, it's making me feel like I feel that anybody that who is listening, who has ever thought of, wanting to have, Akashic Records done or is interested in doing it, then do it, it's not going to, obviously harm you in any way. It's probably going to help you in this lifetime at the present. Right. And so I think that, having that might give that person a little bit more insight or confidence even in this lifetime. Right. And so I think that's amazing, to be honest. Yeah. I think that's a great, another great modality or tool to use for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So do you like make any notes or anything, or is this all just like verbal kind of a session?
It's generally verbal session, but if things come up that are really important and I want, the client to remember, I will send them like a detailed list of, this came up, remember this. And, certain suggestions will sometimes come through because at the end, sometimes I'll ask like, do your guides have any messages or anything?
Right.
So sometimes certain things will come through of like, oh, read this book or do this, or there's a certain thing they're supposed to watch or learn about. So yeah, I write out something, like an email and send the session. I'll always record it, and then so they have the recording to go after and and
Oh,
watch
sweet.
after. And
Okay, that was my next question.
Yeah.
I was like, do you record them? So that people like me sometimes like to go back
Oh, for
and, you
sure.
know, listen to the session or what maybe I missed, or maybe that maybe doesn't quite align with me at that moment, but then maybe down the road when I go back to listen
does.
to it, it does, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what I love about recordings.
Recordings.
Yeah, I agree. Especially when you're in a session too, right? It's like
Mhm.
comes so fast and you're getting all this information and then you watch it after and you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, I'd like to also give you this chance and opportunity also to just, you know, talk a little bit about yourself. And I know you mentioned, you know, you've done a little bit of healing and Reiki and things like that, but are there any other things that you do and would love to share?
Mhm.
Well, I do Reiki sessions as well,
Mhm.
and those are in person as well as online. And then the Akashic Record sessions, of course, and
Sweet.
intuitive coaching as well. I like to help people just navigate through relationships or like purpose work as well.
Nice.
And like grounding, because
Yeah.
you're the Empath Sisters and I'm highly empathic as well. So it's like
Yeah.
one of the main things is like being emotionally like grounded and balanced and empowered, right? So
Yeah.
I like to help people in that area, like helping them just like calm down and then make choices from an emotionally grounded and empowered place. So those
Yes.
are essentially what I've been doing. And I'm
Amazing.
in the process of getting ready to teach Akashic Records. So if anyone is interested in learning,
That's awesome.
That is so good. And when do you
So,
think you'll be launching that? Do you have a projected date?
yeah, I'm projecting within the next 3 months. Within the next 3 months for sure.
Awesome.
okay.
Okay.
That's
So if anybody's
amazing.
interested in a session or learning,
Mhm.
then definitely keep that in mind and reach out to Nicole.
Yeah, we will definitely
Yeah.
have all of her information
Mhm.
tagged onto our Instagram post, and
Mhm.
so that you can, you know, reach out to her if you are interested in connecting with her and
Yeah.
wanting a session or even taking the training when she launches it.
Yeah, and I will say
Awesome.
it is a beautiful modality to have if you're already doing like energy healing and Reiki.
Mhm.
It's such a beautiful thing to incorporate because you can have a Reiki session and do the records at the same time, which
Okay,
I do love. So if anyone is an energy healer or Reiki healer, I just want to let them know that it's a beautiful modality to add to that service.
right. Wonderful.
That's so sweet. I love it.
Yeah,
It's
no,
very exciting.
yeah.
So really good things to come. I'm excited for you. That's awesome, Nicole.
And
Thank
so
you.
is it
Yeah.
because you're launching this in a couple months? Is it because of the training that, like, how long is the training for you to teach Akashic Records, or you're just doing it on your
No,
own?
it's not super long.
Okay,
Like the training itself should only be around, I would say like a 4-week training or something.
okay,
It's just yeah, I'm kind of getting my head around like how do I want to teach this and incorporate
Yeah.
it
of
and that.
course.
So I mean it
That's
shouldn't
awesome.
take that long, but hey, sometimes I can
No,
procrastinate a
Hey.
little.
you know what? It's all about, and we talk about this all the time on our
Mhm.
episodes. Everything is about timing, right?
Yeah.
Everything. And I mean, of course, I would imagine that you would know this, of course, as you know, energy and intuitive and all that. Like it is all about timing. And so it's
Mhm.
whenever you're ready and being called to do this. So
Mhm.
it doesn't really matter when or how long, really, to be honest.
It's not it is the timing,
Yes.
but it's not the amount of time. It's just the journey, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Whatever it's
I
supposed
know
to be.
sometimes it's like I'm being impatient. I want things now. And my guys will be like, just chill out. Like just give
Mhm.
Don't we
I get
all?
the calm down child. I get that one a lot.
yeah.
Like they're like, just calm down, child. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't
Right
like
now.
it. I'm ready now. But
But
really,
that's a lot to do with how we live in society right now, though.
oh, of
We
course.
expect everything to be like this, right? Like right now, and we're so rushy, and we just don't know how to really slow down and take in, you
Mhm.
know, all the The patience.
Lots of patience, I think. I feel like that's part of the journey anyway for a lot
Well,
of people.
I feel like I have a lot of patience, but it's just in certain areas.
Mhm.
That's how I look at it. We all do have patience. We do. We
To
do.
some degree in certain
to some
areas.
degree. Yeah. And
Yeah.
in different things. Right. And so it's just,
Yeah.
in whatever.
Yeah. So your trainings, I'm assuming, will this be offered online as well?
Yeah, it'll be online trainings.
Okay. Cool.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
Mm.
Okay. Is there anything
That's
that you would like to
exciting.
add that our listeners need to know about Akashic Records before we leave them?
I would say just if you are going to get a reading, and this is with anything and anyone, just make sure you trust the person that you're going to.
Yeah.
That would be the main thing. You have to trust the person. I
Do you
mean,
want
there's
to
so many
explain
people
why?
online now. Well, because if you go to someone who doesn't have authenticity in the sense that their intentions are just like A, to just make money, or B,
Right.
they're just whatever, right?
Mhm.
Then the information that's coming through may not be accurate, and then you may take that information and use it, but it's not
Right.
really for your highest good.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's really important to go to anyone, and like I said, that's for Reiki, that's for, like even counseling or psychology, anything really.
Yeah.
You should really be going to someone that you trust.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm. I feel like for some people, it's like intuitively they're trusting and they'll want to go with it, but at the same time, some also look for that, like, are you certified
Yeah.
in certain things? And I know there's certifications for many things, but again, it's like,
how do you certify intuitive?
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So again, that's kind of where that advice comes in, of just trusting the person.
Yeah.
And allowing them to access your space. So how I would say it is, like, if you're trusting the person with your energy, because that's what I've learned on my journey, is that if I only work with people that I trust to work with my energy.
Yeah.
Because I am so sensitive. And so, so I'm very particular in what feels in alignment for me. But sometimes it's just the experience that we need to have as humans too. I've had, sessions with people that maybe were not in alignment, but there was something to be learned there. And maybe it was just that I needed to relearn that pattern over and over again of like, why do you keep doing that?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lesson in everything really.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But even like the lesson of discernment, like I've been on retreats before. Intuitively, I was like, I need to be here. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And then I go and the people running the retreat are like, whoa, what? Like there's ego battles happening and it's not like the energy is not good. And I'm like, but what? Why was I meant to be here? I don't get it. Like I thought this was going to be a blissed out, amazing experience.
Yeah.
But no, the lesson was discernment, like, and really trusting and seeing the energy dynamics and trusting your own inner instinct on it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, totally.
Totally.
And I didn't mean to laugh, but the reason why I was laughing is because it literally made me think of the retreat that Bev and I went on a couple months back, and we thought the same thing, and it was not what
it was totally different.
Yeah.
But because we also went based off of the first experience.
Correct.
So the first experience, it was like, it's just
fantastic.
And it still was a retreat. It just,
yeah, it was different.
It was just different. It was more triggering, that retreat. But again,
but it was a
brought me
lesson.
so much more awareness as to like, oh, that's still there. Okay. Things that I have worked through or whatever. And so it was still beautiful because I love every experience, even if they're not the most fun.
Yeah.
Well,
but
and I'm not going to say that but at the same time, it's not that it wasn't fun. It was still fun. It just, like, for me and individually, myself, emotionally wasn't, and so I learned a lot there, and I learned like there was something that I needed to work on, for that, and because of that. And so yeah, like Bev said,
been the
like
way
any
it is.
retreat that we go on, it's always still a great experience. It's just
Mhm.
individually, you know, it's definitely different for everybody, right? And so,
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when retreats are like open to everybody. So you get all kinds of, energy, and everybody's got their stories. And so sometimes it's like everyone's kind of in that alignment of where you're at. You just find everyone's kind of going through the same thing. I experience that in my day-to-day work. It'd be like, there's a theme of the day
Yeah.
seems to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And most likely this is going to probably be the theme the whole day. And it is. It just seems to keep coming up, and then it'll shift. And so I find even with going to retreats, it'll be there could be a theme of like why everybody's there, what they're going through at that time.
Mhm.
And then sometimes it's like, seems like everybody's scattered and in different things all coming together. It's
Mhm.
a whole mishmash, but it's really to mirror and show each other different things. So
I just
So-
thought of something that just popped in my
Mhm.
head, and maybe I did already ask this, but like, what?
I was just gonna
It
say,
does
it's
sometimes
such a
happen to
Shelley
me. I
thing.
can just, it's so me, but I'm just going to ask it anyway in case I didn't ask it. And if I did, please say I did. But how did you like want to get into Akashic Records?
Yeah, I think
Did I already ask
it
that?
was just no, I don't think you did.
No, I don't think
I
so.
think it was just a natural kind of like progression from the hypnotherapy, because I
Okay.
got level 1 and 2 certification in hypnotherapy. And so it was just another way to like kind of dive deeper and do more clearing and incorporate. It's kind of like a blend of all, really, the
Mhm.
healing, the Akash, as well as like not really hypnotherapy, because I'm not like getting people to fall asleep, but it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
similar in the sense of like the past life theme.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
More
That's
of like the regression.
Yeah. It
okay.
all kind of just like intermingles, and well, I guess you know
Yeah.
how life goes. You learn one
Yep.
thing and then you just
Oh,
kind of fall into
absolutely.
another, and
Totally.
one area closes and then you open another one, and
Mhm.
it's just always kind of unfolding.
For sure. No, that's it makes
It
sense
all
to
makes
me.
sense. Yeah, for sure. And the fact that you had already been doing Reiki, and then it led you to doing some hypnosis work. What called you to going into doing the Akash as well? Is it somebody else was doing it? You had heard about it, you had experienced it. What was your kind of like introduction?
Yeah, I had never experienced it. What it was is I was in I think it was a Facebook group, and one of the mentors in the group, she did, oh no, okay, that's what it was. She did like a mini reading on a live or something, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing a training. And I'm like, yep, I just jumped in. I was like, you know how sometimes in life you're just like, yep,
Mhm.
Yeah.
even though
I'm
I
in.
didn't really know much about it, I was like, yep, 100% yes.
Mhm.
And then going into the Akash, it was really easy for me to pick it up right away, but I think it's because I worked with the Akash and past lives and stuff. So for me, it was just
Right.
really easy to pick up and
Yeah.
dive right in right away. I didn't have to do a ton of training before I got like confirmations from people like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And oh yes, and
Okay.
right?
Sweet.
So yeah, it just came pretty natural.
Nice. So
That's
that tells
awesome.
me that
Mhm.
because when you were like, yep, it was something that you needed to add to
Yeah.
what you were doing. And obviously to me, that just makes it confirm that like what you do is like you're good at what you
Called
do.
to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah,
So,
it came natural. It's one of those things that just kind of
Mhm.
fall in, in life, if it falls into your lap, it's just like, it's easy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
There wasn't a lot of like, it wasn't hard. It was
Yeah,
really,
like it wasn't like a mental thing where you're like, you have to
no,
study books and
no, not at all.
Yeah.
And that's why
No.
like some people are like, but then I have to like recite this precisely and do this. And I'm just like, oh man, I've worked in the records before. I don't need to do any of that. I just have to set the intention and then it all just flows in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
That's so awesome. I
Yeah.
love that. I love being intuitively led, and I love when you're just going in the flow of life and it all just happens.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are the most beautiful moments, because I feel like I do have moments where I'm like pushing and pushing
Yeah.
and things aren't easy in other areas of my life, and it's like it's wonderful when things are just easy and they flow.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. That's pretty
Yeah.
much every modality I have has been like that.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
really think about any of them. It just happened.
Yeah.
So, I love
and
it.
that's when it's beautiful and it's
Mhm.
and it's like it's light. You don't have to think about it. It's just natural, and it's
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that happened for you too, you know,
Mhm.
in your work. Ah, I love it.
Yeah, me too. That's awesome.
I really would like to, I feel, I mean, even for myself, I know I go there. I know I read out of there. I look, I know I access that information. I just don't call it that I'm going to the Akash. That's
Oh, you do.
not what I do,
Absolutely.
but I definitely go there. I pull stuff, I look at things, I go back and forth, all that stuff. But for myself experiencing that with somebody else, I'm not sure if that's ever been the case. So
Yeah.
might be something to just try with somebody and see, okay, well, what would that be like for somebody else to do that? Because I've never had like a specific Akashic record reading
Yeah,
with
me neither.
anybody. So
Yeah.
have they accessed that? Has that come through in a reading? I have no idea, but it'd be cool to try it and see
Mhm.
and have a session and I don't know, see what comes up. That could be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
connect with me. I'll be happy to do a session. for
Tell
you.
me all the problems in my relationship.
Oh.
Just
Yeah,
kidding.
she's already like,
I'm just kidding.
well.
I'm just kidding. I'm
It's
just
like,
kidding.
I already know.
I pretty much know them already, but
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be so fun to see.
Yeah.
That
I
definitely
agree.
is that is my favorite area though, is relationships going into that dynamic, because it's the most
bet.
grounded and it makes the most sense, and
Mhm.
it impacts us the most in our lives.
Yeah,
It
You
does.
sure
know?
does.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
not just like, I know that's not just with your spouse or your significant
No,
other. That's like
absolutely
with
not.
anybody. I
Like
just want
kids,
Yeah.
like, I want
their
people to know
kids.
that it's not just that, right? So
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
All
It-
relationships.
yes. Yeah.
For
I love
sure.
how she laughed like that.
Well, I just, you know,
Yeah.
because like, I just want, make sure that our listeners is not thinking it's just with their,
No,
partners,
no, no.
right?
Partner or
And so I
whatever. Yeah.
want them to know that it is for any relationship,
Yeah.
Or
whether
other
that is,
stuff.
what's that?
Or other stuff.
Yeah.
It can be
yeah,
basically for anything.
Yeah.
You can go
So-
into anything.
Can I ask if there's like an intention that if somebody comes to you and they're like, I want to know this specifically,
Oh, right.
do people do that with you? Or do you just set the intention and it's like whatever's kind of there and that's
Yeah, I
wanting to
can't,
access
like,
that?
promise or dictate what comes through, because
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
always for the highest good.
Yeah.
If someone says like, should I do A or should I do B? I can like tune into the frequency and see what comes out. Like if they say like, should I move west or east? I
Right.
can kind of tune into the energy of that in the Akash,
Mhm.
but I'll never be like, you need to do this or this will be a better
Right.
choice.
Right.
Because the
Mhm,
guys
of
always
course.
tell me there's not really any better choice. Because even if you pick a choice that gives you more pain, you're still learning different lessons that are valuable. So
Yeah.
they'll never say that A is better than B ever. They'll always
Mhm.
Right.
be like, this one feels a little lighter and you might be a little bit happier in this area, but there's never like do this or do that.
Well, and it comes down to it also too, like, and as a psychic or a medium, we always say like, we have free will. So
Mhm.
that's the other part of that. We can change that. So whether they tell you to do this or do that, or, we can change that. We have that free will. So
Yeah. I don't have to do any of it at all.
exactly.
Exactly.
That's what I would say. Just keep doing the same thing you've been doing anyway, if you'd like, or
Exactly.
you can take the guidance and apply it into your life. But
Mhm.
again, that's
Yep.
your choice. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I was just curious if there's the intention of specifically looking in an area, if somebody could choose that, or are you just allowing to see?
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, no.
No.
Yeah, for sure. That is generally how I do it.
Okay.
They come in with an intention and then we open or I wouldn't say open, but then I receive information from the records.
Okay.
Just
And
generally
some-
going like, tell me anything. I find that doesn't
Yeah.
work as well. It works so
Yeah.
much better when there's an intention in an area.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get
Yeah.
what
Okay.
yeah, for
Well,
sure.
that's okay. I love what you already said prior
Yeah.
anyway. That was great information. So, but I also was curious if there's people that like if there's a reason why we should go there, would you say that that would be the best intention, is like, if you're choosing to have an Akashic record reading done, that you
Yeah.
should have some kind of an intention of, or area or something, or reason that you want to go digging in there and getting some guidance or information? Would you say that that would be
Yes,
right?
that's the perfect way to do it. Otherwise,
Okay.
we're like, what are we doing?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I would still get information, but
Yeah.
having an intention to go in is definitely the way that I prefer to do it. So I will
Right.
tell my clients, you know, if you have any questions or areas, please write them down, and then
Right.
we'll go and see kind of what comes up, and it's just kind of goes from there.
Cool.
Okay.
And do you get them to ask the questions or have the area that they want to go in prior to getting together online, or is that something that you do when you start the session?
We generally do that when we start the session.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they can formulate the questions prior to the session, but I don't generally see the questions until the session.
Until then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
I like that.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And they're about 45 minutes long. Okay. And they're done
Okay.
online. So that's excellent. That's super
Mhm.
exciting. I'm really glad that we have crossed paths. Shelly and I don't know, Shelly, have you met Nicole prior to the retreat?
No, just
Okay.
at the retreat. Yeah.
So the first retreat Shelly and I attended last year in 2023, Nicole was also a participant there. So that's how we got to cross paths with her.
Yeah.
I was like, I loved her already from the beginning. So
I
And-
felt the same way though. I was like, oh, I love these girls.
oh, that's so
and
awesome.
and one thing we did not mention, Nicole wrote a book,
Yes, that's right.
and she gave us all a book that she wrote.
Did.
It
Mine's
was
in
an
my
amazing
basket
book.
right there.
Yeah.
I love it.
I do have it here.
Oh, good.
I just have it in my office there.
There it
Pure
is.
Magic children's book.
Yes. It is a sweet book.
Yeah, it
You
is.
guys have to read it or go out. Where can they find your book?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's online on my
Okay,
website at
perfect.
enlightenmentnowacademy.com.
Okay, we will
Enlightenment
share
Now
It'll
that.
be
Okay.
enlightenment now and then -academy.com.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely share that in our podcast notes and in our Instagram for sure. So if anybody is
Absolutely.
interested in looking at her book as well, because it is a very cute book. It's
awesome. I loved it.
Yeah, there's
So
a
it's
lot of
in-
kids. A lot of kids say, "Oh, it's or parents will tell me it's the kid's favorite book," and I'm like, "Oh,
Aw.
yeah, it is
Awesome.
a good book. So
It's a very
yes.
good book.
I forgot. I
That's-
wanted to mention that.
Yeah, no, it's great. Yes, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
We were
So-
gifted a free book, so we were very lucky to have that. So
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
So you've done amazing things. You're amazing light
Mhm.
being, and we were so grateful to have crossed paths with you, and definitely love learning lots more about you and what you do. So we really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us and to share all of your gifts with our listeners as well. So
Mhm.
did anybody have any last questions before we wrap the session up today?
No, I just wanted to say I was really, really grateful that you were wanting to come on with us.
Yeah, totally.
it's
Yeah.
awesome to be here. I really appreciate it. Thank you."
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
coming
joining
on.
us. Yeah, thank you so much, Nicole, for joining us today with the Empath Sisters. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in and hanging out with us again. We totally appreciate you. And until next time, everybody, we are sending you love, light, and gratitude wherever this may find you. You take care,
Yes.
everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.